Okay. All right. Here we are doing this again. Why? Because a message needs to be spoken, and it is just the truth of Christ. That's it.
Yep,
That end of episode.
absolutely.
End of
Yep.
episode. That's it, everybody. Thank you for joining. We appreciate your time and everything like that. Sai, Tavi, take it away.
Hey, hi everybody, and thank you for joining us today. As we have promised you, we're going to try to get together every Monday around this time, give and take, only because a lot of us work, and also too we want to accommodate some of our guest speakers as we have today, and we want to, with so much love, just introduce you guys Rebelde. And that was actually her character. That's the way she talks. And you know why she's rebelde? Because she is not scared at all. She is all in it.
As you're about to
Recently,
find out.
exactly. Recently left the cult La Luz del Mundo, and she's free. And I love the passion that she has to tell her story and not being afraid. I love that about her. So, Rebelde, if you want to take it over, go for it. Introduce yourself and tell us your story or however you want to do it. Like I said, this is kickback. This is let it come from your heart. Okay.
Okay. Well, greetings to everybody, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, uh, Tia Tabby and Kevin, for letting me be in your podcast, and hopefully that my testimony will be helpful to a lot of people, especially in the English language. Since I've been coming out on other YouTubers and I've given my testimony, and that has helped a lot of people too. And so I want to start off with that. Um, when I got out, uh, I was in shock. I was mad, and I I decided on a name so that I can, listen to the chats. And the first thing that came to my mind was rebel, because I've always been a rebel, and I've never liked like the long skirts. I've always thought that I was going to be, like I was chubby, so back then. So then I was like, I don't want to wear skirts. I don't want to wear skirts.
Oh, I
And
was about to ask. You
yeah,
can't be called rebel for no reason.
Hey,
right.
that's gonna be one of the questions I'm gonna ask you. Just real quick because I have to tell everybody that Rebelde is a newly 6 months, right? Más o menos, Rebelde.
Yes.
Six
Yeah.
And, and,
months.
and,
That
Months
is
ago
so
I
and
came
this,
out.
fresh.
I love that because that says that we're doing something right.
Yes.
Of the podcast that everybody's listening to, and little by little they get those that urge of saying, I wonder what they're saying on that YouTube channel that they're telling us not to talk. So hey, just real quick, I know I don't want to get you off subject, but we just want to say hi to everybody. Rogelio saying hi. He's
Hi.
a very faithful follower of mine from my previous
Yes.
podcast. So
Yeah.
welcome, Rogelio, and
Rogelio,
he's going to be our next guest.
saludos, amigo.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And Michita, hello, Hector, everybody. Okay, Estrella. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I was saying, I never. I was like so annoyed with the servicios. I was so annoyed with the because they were take like long ass hours to, like
What?
by the time we would get by the time we would
I'm
get out,
offended.
I was like hungry. I was like bored. I was like,
I'm
let's
so
get out of
offended.
here. I want
Were you bored of Kevin directing his choir? Was
no,
that it?
no, actually,
You know,
no.
no, you know why I'm offended? I'm offended because when I stood on that pulpit, I made sure that you were fed.
But what?
Oh,
A bunch of BS?
but I
Si
wasn't BS,
saliste
but
con hambre fue tu culpa.
of course, yeah.
Oh my
See,
goodness.
no, I mean, I was like so rebel. I was really a rebel, like I was always, like I liked other things. I did like to sing though. I would go
Oh, so
to
you
the
would sing on Thursday,
services,
Sundays.
go and stand up and sing, and
Me
so yeah.
too.
That's what I would love. I would love the attention too. So yeah,
Oh,
and then
that's cute.
I'm a
And that's why
attention
we're here,
seeker.
because we like attention.
Attention seeker.
I would look up to cuando cantaba a ver quién está mirando. Envidia. Qué vergüenza, ¿verdad? Usted, qué alma perdida, ¿verdad? Oh my, I'll stop. Yes.
Yeah.
Sundays were mentally
Seriously.
draining, someone says.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Because okay, so we would go to like 2 hours, actually like 3 hours to the Domi, okay, to Sunday school. And then because people had to be there like about an hour for choir, or just to get there on time and be there, and have like a real nice seat, a view and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's why it was like 3 hours in the Sunday school. And then you would go out and eat and everything. You get tired and you get sleepy, or you want to go watch a movie or something. And
El pecado. Ese es el cuerpo.
cuerpo lo
How do they say it?
Carnala.
Carnala, yeah, carnala. O títere, ese títere de carne. No quiero cine.
Yeah, well,
Did
entonces,
you ever go to the movies, by the way, when you were in church?
No, I
when I,
didn't.
when I was
I
in,
was faithful.
no, actually no. But then, well, see, this I did get out in 2007, and then I came back in 2014. So I did go to the movies after that.
Felt nice,
So-
right?
What?
It felt nice, like being able to go to
Yes,
theaters. Like,
yes,
oh my god, it felt so
You're
good.
not doing anything wrong. And
No.
you know how they would just, tell us that, oh no, it's a sin. It's a sin to go to the movies and everything. No, you're enjoying, with family, with friends. You're not doing anything wrong. But anyways, yeah, so
Wait, I just have a question before you keep going. This is very important.
okay.
After Sunday schools, would you go to the Chinese buffet?
No. Sometimes.
Okay. Because every
You
church
had
I
to
went
eat.
to,
No,
right?
no. So she had to eat. Actually, here in SAC, we had to eat the food that was sold by los hermanos.
Autoconsumo,
Yes.
es cierto,
God
es
forbid
cierto.
you went
Sally,
and spend your money at the Chinese buffet.
food,
You
and-
sinned, Kevin. You sinned.
I
Yeah.
did sin because you know what? I got sick and tired after just getting diarrhea from a sister that didn't know how to cook. Respectfully. You come to an age in your life where you're like, perdóneme, pero sus pupusas me dan cagadas. Just no.
I get the shits.
Hilarious.
Hey, I get it.
Te
Well,
digo que es tremendo.
yeah, I know. And so, yeah. So then when you go back to the service, you're like, oh, I'm so lazy to get in the service, So only if I was going to sing, then I would go to the service and stuff like that. But then these last few years, I was going often to the services. And believe me, it was not even half the church that was there. Not even
Never.
half the church
Never.
that
No.
never. Members. No, it wasn't. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, in
Hey,
part,
Estrella wants to know, an audience listening to you wants to know, if you got out, why'd you go back? Or what made you go back?
okay.
After 7 years, that is a good question.
Yes, that's a good question.
Well, I had problems in my marriage, my previous marriage, and so the pastors were making it like giving me a headache, because every time that I would go up to the ministers and tell them, I have problems with my husband, he's this and this and that, and they would just look at me, and they would be like, there's not a divorce in church, right? And I would be like, pues, yeah, I know that. That's why I'm coming to you, because I want to fix my marriage. Hello. And so then I got fed up, and so I decided to moved somewhere else. And then when I left the church because I was lazy to drive to the nearest church, and I just like I wanted my freedom. And I met
Yeah.
somebody else, and so I just stopped going. I stopped
That's
going.
kind of that's kind of like my story as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I got another question.
Okay.
Okay, but first, I want to embarrass somebody. First, they sold food, and you had to. Yes, Jessica. Yes, whoever you are. Yes.
It could be Jesse.
No, she's a friend of mine. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we had to buy the food every Sunday, and you would be kind of like you would lose social credits if you chose not to buy there, and everyone would know because everyone's down there, and they would watch you leave early. But my question for you, Rebelde, is okay. So you left, right, during
Yes.
those 7 years. Okay.
Yes.
During that time, you're enjoying these freedoms, you're enjoying these moments of where, you didn't have this before. And you're going through all these emotions of how should you feel? Is this bad? Is it really good? Why is it considered bad in the first place, right? And with going with all of those thoughts and emotions, you meet someone else. Now, in all that turmoil, or if you were even going through turmoil, what was it about him that made you feel like you could open your heart up when you're going through this type of journey?
Um, it's just like I said, I've always been a rebel, and I've never was like how should I say? I was looking for somebody that wasn't uh from the church. I was uh I was kind of seeking something different, something new, because all I was thought about was that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go to the movies with your husband, you can't, like, things like that, and things that I wouldn't do with the first husband. So then that's when I decided to leave, and I left the church, and they considered me, like the bad one, and the rebel,
Yeah.
so
So
I
he
That,
just
spoke
kept
to a
going.
rebel heart.
Yes.
but you know what? It's not that we're rebel. I think it's more like AKA smart. I really do.
I think
Yeah.
so. Because one of the
I
things we were talking about, Tabi, the other day was that, and like someone even said about the subconscious, is that even though like we are programmed to a specific thing, like there's just something about natural life that makes it where we know something's wrong, right?
right,
Right.
right,
And whatever that is also can help you pick, someone to help you along in your journey, which is why you may not know much about somebody, but for some reason you feel like you click.
right.
Yes. Yes.
And you know what, Arinda, you were talking about how you wanted to be with somebody that's different. I I feel and I believe that that's the reason why I was attracted to my husband, because it was like a fresh start for me. It was like someone that wasn't going to judge me and tell me, if you go to the
Yeah.
movies, you're gonna go to hell. You don't go to church, that was like that kind of stuff. He was just plain old family guy, loved his family, and loved me, showed me what life is all about.
Right.
How the grass is greener on the other side of La Luz del Mundo. It's
It,
like,
it is.
Yeah. It
It
is.
is.
so
It
you
really
want
is.
to,
Yeah.
I mean, I love the fact that we have the all our guests, our audience that are listening to us, and it's awesome that a lot of times you see them. And little Bolero, I just want to thank everybody that's listening to us right now, and hopefully you'll share our link with other people I share on. But more than anything is that I love the fact that we challenge ourselves. Because like I said before in Spanish, decía, les reto. I challenge you to check it out, see what it is, what's going on. So you talked to me about Rebelde about 6 months ago. What was it that you saw that you said, okay, I'm done?
All right. Well, since I was almost born in this cult. Um, uh, my whole life was there. My whole life was there. I didn't know anything else. And my mom was very strict with me, and I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't do makeup. I couldn't wear pants to school. I couldn't do a lot of things. And so I was there all the time, constantly, constantly. So I grew up, and I was in choir. I was helping all the time. I was selling food. I was I didn't go to the labor. I didn't go to the labor or anything like that, but I did help a lot, you know. So um then when I
For
left
hold on one sec. For people that are listening to us that have not heard of La Luz del Mundo, the labor is when you sign yourself up to be a minister and go out and preach the gospel. So that's
or
what the labor is.
just in a group, go out and preach to your parents or to your family members or friends, you know, and you
Right,
invite,
right,
you know. I
right.
never did any of that, you know. Because I consider myself that I wasn't uh I didn't know my Bible very good. I didn't, you know, I would just help out in
Yeah.
material, in
Right.
material. So when I moved, and I got out of the cult.
Mhm.
I decided to come back because I had problems again. And then my mother was always telling me that it was my fault, because all the things that were happening to me, the bad things that were happening to me, were my fault because I left the church. And
Of course.
that's my
Of course.
punishment. That's my punishment. And
Hmm.
that I should go and look for church, you know, and go back to
Mhm.
church and ask God for forgiveness, because the um the apostle was very sick too. Back then, she was saying about, you know, Samuel. And so um when I decided to come back to church, I started devoting myself to church, and
Yeah.
did everything I could possibly do to mend my sins, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know if you would call that, but
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna help in the construction. And hi Hector, how are you? Hi
Mhm.
Vilindino, my cousin, um, and Roger and everybody that's on the chat. But
Hi, Roger.
yeah. So
I'm telling you, he's next.
yeah, yes, he is. Let's get him up here. Well,
Right.
anyways, so I never thought of anything, you know. I never thought of anything. Then all of a sudden, the announcement that Nason was the one that, you know, the apostle and everything. And I uh I said, well, good for him. Yes, you, Roger. Um and so I said, you know, well, good for Nason, you know, good for Nason, because God, you know, chose him and stuff like that. And since I used to hang out with them, I used to do lots of things with them. And so I know him personally. I know him, you know. Um and so I said, you know, like it's so good, because every time that I was out, my mom would tell me, you know, they asked for you, they asked where you're at, you know, and if you're coming back to the church. So they know who I am. They know who I
Mhm.
am. And so I thought that was like a big blessing, that they knew who I was, and they were
Yeah.
always asking for me. And
You're
so
something. You're special. No, it's true. That's the whisper you
But
would
you
hear.
worry
Like,
that
you're
was
yeah,
the talent that you
special.
have, and when they see you that you're servicial, they'll use you, and you
Oh,
know
yeah,
they
yeah.
will. They'll use.
Oh.
right, right. So um then all of a sudden, the he got arrested. Okay. And in the church there was rumors all the time that this was a how do you say complot, um
Compat,
like
right?
a
Plot.
plot.
Yeah. A
Yes,
plot.
Yeah,
this a plot.
compat,
This
a plot.
was
Right.
This was made by AI, those videos,
Oh
and
my
that
God, I
Sochi,
remember when
yeah,
they
that's
said
what they
that.
were
Yeah,
saying. That's
yeah,
what
yeah, I
they were telling.
remember that.
They were saying that Xochitl and her husband were the ones that brought all these little girls, and they told them, you're gonna get a lot of money if you talk against Nason and everything, and so we thought. I mean, I hated Xochitl in the beginning because I thought, oh my God, what a bitch, she's for reals, for reals.
No, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
Let's
I
still
wasn't.
call her
I
a
didn't
bitch,
have
but
the.
that's
I
okay.
I didn't have
hated
the
her.
most positive feelings about her in the beginning either.
Yes,
So
I hate.
wait a minute. I need to know this. Someone needs to answer this for me, please. Anyone watching, or Dia, or Rebel Heart, like, let me know. Okay, so she's bad, right? She was a groomer, right?
Yes.
Then she gets busted. She gets caught, and then that's when she reveals that she was a groomer this whole time, right? Okay. So then all the lawsuits and everything happening and everything like that. I got lost if she was a hero or not, hero or not, hero or not. And then towards the end, we ended up with I don't know where she is, right? Because every time I look on a Reddit post about her, oops, sorry, my bad, buddy. Every time I look at a Reddit post about her or anything like that, like she's either thank you for your bravery, and the other ones are that bitch.
Okay. So we know that she did what she did, right? Well,
Okay,
so we can't judge her because of what she did because we all make mistakes, especially
right.
me. I talk about myself because I've always done a big mistakes. And then, but you know what? She recognized herself,
Okay.
and thanks to her for opening her mouth, and thanks to the social media and everything, we are in this place now.
Right.
So we
Okay.
thank we thank her, and I don't hate her anymore. I'm just
Okay.
like,
So hero is where she landed is hero now?
yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Anti-hero in the middle. Dabi,
I'm
you
not
see,
gonna
you're not
say she's my niece. I don't know if you know that,
So
Kevin.
Chila's your
So
niece? I didn't.
she's my
Oh wait, I
cousin's
did.
daughter,
Yeah.
and I'm going to keep my opinion to myself
Okay.
because I love her. And there's
Okay.
yeah, I don't want to touch that
It's
subject because
mixed.
I don't want to give material to La Luz del Mundo to say that
Oh,
she's a liar
okay.
and this and that because I'm not going to say that. Um, I do know that she's done a lot in regards to speaking up for everybody
Okay.
on very various channels, various podcasts, various news. I mean, they've gone to Mexico, they've talked things that people have not done in regards to speaking up
That's
and giving her face, her and
well,
telling
that's
they
true.
done it. You know what I mean? So
That's very
that I
true.
gotta
They have.
give
They've
her,
advocated.
yeah, I gotta give them to that they have done that. And not everybody gives their face. And all due respect
Right.
to you, Rebelde,
Right.
but I'm just saying is that I didn't do it initially. I covered my face. I put a talina over my face when we first had the protest in front of the LA County Jail. So I gotta give that to her. Those kudos to her is that she has spoken publicly and made people aware of the dirtiness of La Cúpula. And that's a big thing. Is a lot of people don't have those guts to do that, and they did. In regards to the other issue of who did what, blah blah blah, who was the one that really went to the police and this, for me, it's doesn't really matter at this time anymore. For me, it's that the man's in jail, and we do have the Jane Does that were very brave, that they spoke up in court in to his face. They weren't in because they asked, and they were not put in social media their faces, even when they're all kind of hugging each other in a line at the beach. When you saw that, I think it was on the Netflix
Yes.
documentary that they
It
did.
was.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And unfortunately, because of the lawsuit that's going on, they can't do that. But everybody knows who they are. I mean, there were at least 10 high-end ministers at the courthouse the day of the sentencing. So they saw the girls when they spoke up, the 5 girls, so they know who they are,
Yes.
But what I'm saying though is that in regards to Xochitl and what she did and so forth and so forth, I'm just going to leave it at that.
We are.
That it's
I
yeah,
think you've spoken more than
Yes,
than
we
than
we
you think.
her.
Like, just so you
yeah,
know,
And
yeah,
like you have.
yeah, and she
in
has
this
some.
podcast,
She's done a lot.
yeah, in this podcast, I just want to say, thank you, Xochitl. Thank you for
Right.
opening your mouth, being so brave, and doing what you did. Because in the beginning, yes, everybody was talking bad about her, but you know what? At the end, right now, my feelings for her is that I'm so grateful for her. I'm so
Hmm.
grateful that she opened her mouth because we wouldn't have known any of this, and this would have kept on going and going. Who knows
One
as
thing,
to where?
one thing that I do remember, and I have to say this at the beginning of when before Nason got arrested, I remember she was on Redx, and when she heard or saw the conversation of the Jane Does talking, she got involved. I know that for a fact because I saw that on the
Yeah.
messages on Reddit. So that I do have to say, and you know that part right there is like maybe that was what encouraged the girls to say something, or
Yes,
maybe she did. You know what I mean? So regardless, I really think that there's been at the beginning it was those conversations that went back and forth with her. I spoke to her a little bit about it. I don't know exactly. I don't even remember what steps were that she got involved with the girls to or through the messages on Reddit that she said something, but all said and done, she's done a great job representing
Yeah.
the victims. She has had in public. Is what I'm saying. She has done a great job, and I saw her pain when she was in the day of the court, and I really saw Shadim. They're both really upset of the outcome of how little time they gave. Nason, and that right there, it says of who they are. So,
yes,
you
I
know,
wanna
um,
I wanna
eh,
I wanna rewind to that piece that
yeah,
you said that with outside of her being family, I want to make it clear that everything Tabi has said is fact. This isn't just because we're family, I'm being biased and defending my family. It's not like that. Make it very clear. I asked the question in a very blunt way as a stranger, someone outside looking in that doesn't know context, doesn't know what's really going on, but asked a genuine question in a very blunt way. I got my facts. And I
right.
think to anyone that bad mouths her on Reddit or anybody else, you're making it very clear that you don't know what really happened and what the history is and what the facts really
Yeah.
are.
And she mentioned one time about se pasan de víctimas a victimarias.
yes,
And several, even speaking with about Alonda, I mean, granted, whoa, the things that my niece told me, Jane Doe number 5, that she did to her, and she told them to do, which we're going to pass on to what your the some stuff that that if you want to share it or not. But
Yeah.
at first, no one liked her because she said, "Oh, what a," she did this and this and this to the girls.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she was a victim too. That's all she knew. And I gotta give her the credit that she fessed up. They said they could say, well, she was put against the wall, blah blah blah. The Medina girl didn't do that. You know why? Because she knew she was going to get, in deep, what. But she, Alondra fessed up and said, and I heard her cry when the girls were talking to her, and at the day of her when they were going to let her go, her sentencing. I mean, she cried it, and it made me cry. It really, really did. At the end of the day, it's like I would say neither one of us three have gone through so much crap, like
She's going through. Yeah.
Sochi, like the Jane Doe's 5, like especially, I'm going to go back to the Sochi thing. It's like we're good at pointing our fingers at people, not
Yes.
knowing what they're going through.
Yep.
And I think at this time, I'm gonna back up a little and I'm gonna go, you know what? Maybe I thought some things too about certain groomers, like I said, Alondra and so forth and so forth. But at the end of the day, I took everything back. I'm here right now and giving my face and saying, you know what, I take it back because they've all been our heroes because they've given the face to the world of people of a lot of victims. There's so many victims
Yes.
that fueron de Samuel, even de Aaron, Samuel y de Nazón that have not spoken up. I've spoken to
Still up.
girls. I was telling you the other day, Rebelde, that there was a young girl that I met maybe 6 months ago from Guadalajara, and her whole family, her sisters, her cousins, they're all very well known in Guadalajara. Beautiful girls. They've all been there somewhere. Their own aunt took them from
Yes.
the age of 8 all the way to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. It's crazy. But they can't speak up. You know,
Right.
they can't speak up. And some of those girls have actually, left Hermosa Provincia because, they're in danger. They've been told that, and it's scary in Guadalajara because you speak, te pasa lo de Silvia.
Yes.
So, so like I said, all these girls for me, I'm just saying me, they're heroes, regardless of, and I'm not saying this because Xochitl is my niece, because Jane Doe, number 5 is my niece, or even, I don't even know Alondra. But I'm just saying for all the people that have been abused, even us here, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
we've gone through hell and back. We've lost family. I want you to continue your story, Rebelde, but I mean, we've lost family members that hate our guts, that wish we were dead. I mean, at the beginning, when I started talking, I'm telling you, I used to be really careful when I would come out to my car in the morning. I used to go
Yeah.
to work
Yeah.
and I would
Look
look
everywhere.
under my car and see if there was a bomb. You never know. You never know. Giving your face out, you never know. But I'll tell you something. I trust in the Lord. And I think that I feel and I believe that when you give your face, and if something happens to you, guess who? Everyone, my whole family is going to point their finger back. Guess who the cops are going to go? I love to watch crime shows on TV, and that's what they do. The first
You want
thing
me
they
to-
do, they're going to go, did she have any enemies? What happened? Blah 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 blah. So
Yes.
you know what? Heck, Kevin, first we have God on our side, but
Amen.
I'm
Amen.
not scared anymore.
I just
Well-
thought of something like crazy, right? Because
Mhm,
the truth is gonna be ugly, like,
mhm.
and sometimes in even terrible moments. It's just
Mhm.
it's just gonna be a reality that sometimes it's difficult for us to even start to process, right?
Yeah.
But we constantly talk about a cycle of hurt people, right? So my question is always, well, it's just like a thought that I had, right? Because I'd like to think that Nason got his pervertedness from someone or somewhere. Like he
He
didn't
saw it.
just,
He saw it as an
just
example in his father.
and that's what I've been wondering. Like, did Samuel ever force him to do something?
Yeah, he did. I'm
He
pretty sure.
did.
Yeah.
You think?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes, because it passes down to
Yeah.
like whatever they did to him, then that's why he's doing this too. My thought was that he wasn't that bad. He was just, like, bring me some girls and, let me have them. But when he met Azalia is the perverted one. That's my thought. That's my opinion. Azalia
Okay.
would text him. Like, do you remember what they said in court? She would text him and she would say, hey, what if we get a little kid and we do this and
She
we do this,
was.
and
Yeah, she was instigating.
him hitting the girls too? That
Someone did the same thing though.
yeah.
Someone did the same thing though.
I'm pretty sure he knew everything that was going on, and they did that to him too. They did that to Abraham too.
Yeah.
So many people. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
just goes down and down. And where's Doña Alma? Oh yeah, sitting there just looking.
Doña Alma. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
I wonder where she's at. I wonder, does
La
anyone know
doña, ¿dónde
where,
está la doña?
¿Dónde está la
la doña?
doña Alma? Oh,
¿Dónde
pues
está
muy
la doña Alma?
aquí.
Oh
And
my
the sad
God.
thing is that both of the spouses knew what was going on. I've heard
That's
testimonies that at least Alma was present when all this was happening.
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's so like
yeah.
I remember I was telling y'all yesterday where I was like, you know what? It's crazy that Alma has to sit next to her that like disgusting puerco. Shout out to
Yeah.
Hector, where all these things are happening to him, right? Like, and I always thought, you know, Alma, Doña Alma, that's not fair. You should also have your side pieces. You should also have your men on the side. I mean, if he's
I
going to
heard she
be,
does the chauffeur
She
or something
does.
that she has. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
oh
That's
shoot,
her
she gets in the
chauffeur.
car. Cállate, llévamela,
Sorry.
ya sabes.
Oh shit.
La paz del Señor, hermana Alma. Ya cállate, llévame.
You know, and I believe that the only reason why she hasn't gone to jail was because the acts that she
She's
witnessed
snitching.
were in Guadalajara. No, she was in Guadalajara,
Oh,
Yeah.
so she couldn't go against her. They have to have happened here in the United States.
that's
Yes.
crazy. I mean, yeah, that is. That's
Mhm.
very true.
Maybe in the federal court
FYI.
it's going to be different, but in the state court they cannot.
Yeah.
FYI to
That's
anybody,
where.
NDAs do not apply to crimes. NDAs do not apply to crimes. If something happened to you and they made you sign an NDA, it's not valid. Something criminal was done to you. You have to report it. It's the law. NDAs don't cover that.
You want to explain what an NDA means so people can know?
Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreement. It's where something happens and then you sign this piece of paper that says that you will not speak about what happened to you in
And that
exchange
happened to the
for
Jane Does. And that
a
they
lot
made
in
the Jane Does
Mexico.
do
Yeah.
that. They
Yeah.
made them sign that document. I read it, the one that they gave to my niece, and it's Joram Nunez had her sign it, and it had, nothing happened to me. I was just there working as a secretary. I cleaned the house. I did this. I did that. But nothing happened to me. Okay, Nason didn't do anything to me. So my question is to the audience. Let's see if you guys can answer me. I want to see this in comments. How did Joram or Silem and all the other crooked people knew who to go to get that document signed? Did he go through 5 million members of the church to say that they did not get sexually abused by Nason? So, come on, guys. I need an answer. Kevin, you tell me, how did they know who to go to sign that document?
I got you. Mire, hermana, es que usted no entiende cómo trabaja los dones de disposición de la apostolicitud.
Oh shit.
Ok, por eso
Dios les
nosotros
inspiró.
no fue a usted, es inspiración. A nosotros es revelación directa del apóstol. That's all I'm saying. Por eso sabíamos quién era.
Exact girls, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine? And they believe that too, like the hype.
How stupid of the leaders thinking, oh, this is going to help us in court. They never thought that was going to come. But how do you think that actually it makes it even more guilty?
Breadcrumbs.
It makes
They
it
just
even
gave
more
them
guilty.
everything. Yeah. Yep.
It's like, well, so why did you have? Let me ask you, why did you have this Jane Doe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sign this? And it was more than 5, but why did you have them sign it? What was your purpose? Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
They knew.
Rebel Heart.
Yes.
This is now a moment where you can please continue, your story.
Yes. All right. Well, since I was saying, that they were rumors in church that they were saying that that it was Xochitl and it was her husband and all of this going on, right? So we believed it. And me being devoted, me being a worker, me being a seller of flowers, a seller of tamales, a seller of I was selling food to the brothers and doing all these things. I didn't want to watch any of the news. I didn't want to watch. I didn't. I didn't have Netflix back then, and so I was like, it's not gonna bother me. It's not, like people are talking, and I had friends that would come up to me and tell me these testimonies about Laid doing threesomes with other women, and and that he was like doing all kinds of drugs and stuff. And I was like, how? Why? And then I would
Mhm.
hear that almost all the Joaquinas were like separated, or were having problems, or the kids were out and stuff like that. And I was like, what? The family, the royal family. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell? What's going on? Why? And people would tell me, they would like hermanas santas que venían, like las viejitas, and they would be like,
Oh my
it's
God, yeah.
because it's because the devil is working so hard, and he's twisting even the family of the apostle. That's why. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh. Hector says bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, bolchetos, yeah. You're right about that.
so I kept going. I kept going, even though they would tell me all these things, and they would be like, why are the ministers getting so much money? Did you see their purses? Their purses are like $5,000. And I was like, well, what does that have to do? They're blessed. The church is growing, and stuff like that. So it wouldn't bother me. I was standing there because I heard a letter of Nason saying that if you step on mud, then you get, splashed with mud. So I
Hmm.
didn't want to, like I wanted to be like feed me strong, standing. And so it never bothered me. But then I
Not
have,
knowing que te, not knowing que te estabas revolcando en el lodo the whole
yes,
time.
yes, the whole time.
We all
And
did.
I was like, so I have more friends that would tell me stuff. And so one of them, I know her testimony. I know her testimony. She's always been good. She's always been devoted. She's always been selling. And the Lord has helped her so much. And I believed her. I believed her when she started telling me about the ministers. She told me about how Lupe Hernandez, he was like in charge of the APS and the graduations, and how they would tell all these brothers to bring money for the events, for the graduations, and that there was going to be becas and money given out and stuff like that, and the food and the salon where they were going to rent it and stuff like that. And then at the end of those events, none of the poor students of the brothers would get a beca or would get something, recognition or anything. They would just get a little pat in the back and Dios te bendiga, God bless you, and bye. And
Yep.
um, but the grandkids of Lupe, they're engineers, like who the fuck pays for their studies? Well, the church does, you know.
You don't say.
It's ironic that you say that because El Hijo de Daniel Nunez, the one that left the church, he studied some sort of religion and stuff, and that he's got a major in that. Who paid for that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and good for him that he left. But maybe that's why he left,
So
because he was smart enough.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
Daniel Nunez left?
Su hijo.
yeah. You know that?
Oh, which one?
What's his name?
Betsy's kid.
I know, but we don't know. I don't know his name. There's actually a video where
Asiel?
he's at a church.
Asiel
He's at a.
Núñez. Joaquin.
Does anyone know his
Oh,
name on
He's a minister
yeah, he's a minister at a different church.
at the Metodista.
Mhm.
wait, jump ship?
Yeah, he's actually le dieron la hostia and like the everything. Yeah, he's shaking
Damn. They
hands with
got
them,
transfer papers for
doing
that?
that.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? I mean, good for
Yeah.
him though. Good for
Hmm.
him. I know that everybody has a different thought about that, about
Yeah.
leaving on someone to go to another church and stuff like that. But you know what? Maybe that's their way of healing. I don't know. I'm not gonna critique that.
I don't know.
So I started like having thoughts in my head. I started having
Mm,
thoughts and I would be like, El Señor Jesucristo te reprenda, Satanás. I would be like, man, Satanás is working really hard on me and he's making me think twice, and blah blah blah. And then I started thinking, um, all these ministers are against the servant of God. And I was like, oh my God, they're the ones that are blaming Sochi for this. And then I started thinking more and more and more. And then, but then I was like, no, no, no. God's gonna tell us. God's gonna, put it out there. So, um, my friend keeps on telling me stuff, and more stuff. And I was like, man, she must be like really, really bitter, bien amargada because of all the things that have happened to her. So she told me that she was watching the YouTube channels, and she told me that she watched the Netflix too. And she's like, they're all lying to us. They're all lying to us. You should look at it. And I was like, no, I don't want to because me va a caer un rayo, like I'm going to be stricken
yeah.
by lightning. That was my
Yeah.
first fear. Then I have another friend who told me, she's like, go look at the Netflix and tell me if my picture's there, because they told me that my picture's there and they're talking shit about me. And I was like, what?
Jeez, man.
She used to help a lot in the she used to help a lot in the events, the birthdays of Samuel and Nason and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll look at it. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, one friend told me that she saw it, nothing happened to her. Another friend told me that she looked at it but really quick and she didn't see her picture. So I was like, well, I'm diving in, and the Lord helped me. And this was after a big event happened here, and so I was like, okay, well, the Lord helped me. The Lord helped me. So I started seeing so many things, and then when I started seeing Alitia, and she's my friend, when she was talking about how they convinced her with love. And then she started crying at the very end. Oh my God, I was bawling. I was crying my eyes out. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And then I saw the video where he comes out with Azalia with the white robe, you know, and naked.
Ah,
And
yes, the
like,
AI picture. That's right.
when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, no, that's not Charin. That's not that's not Charin. That's not Son. I know him. I know who he is. I was like, that, oh my God. I was like, and I started crying, and then I started thinking to myself, I got so mad. And then I started thinking to myself, you know what? We are a cult. We are what they say that we are. We are a cult. Oh my God, how embarrassing. I'm in a cult. I'm not going to wear my skirts anymore. I'm not stepping one footstep inside that satanic temple, because I know what that satanic um temple is made of.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
pure Nason, Nason, Nason. Nason symbols here, Nason there, not everything. And I was like, no, no. Oh my God, then he is guilty. And I started looking at the YouTube videos, and they were saying that he said he was guilty. And I didn't even know because I was never paying attention to what they were saying in church, that that it's only 10 years that they gave him. That's it. That's all. And blah blah blah. And I was like,
Not enough.
no. Then I started searching. I started like, I want to talk. I want to talk. But my friends would tell me, no, don't speak, because they're going to do something to you if you speak. You need to hide, you need to be quiet, you need to just, like, you know what I did? I got all my social media and I blocked everybody's ass off. That was from LL DM. I said, I don't want them to be calling me. I don't want them to be telling me anything. I don't want to know anything. So that's when I got out. And ever since then, I started getting a little bit more courage, a little bit more courage. And thanks to Apocalipsis, because I was watching Hello Apocalipsis, he was the first one that I called, and then Hector. And I was nervous at the beginning. I didn't want to speak, but at the same time, I did want to. I wanted to tell everybody, you know what? You're dumb. You're in a cult. You're in this. You're in that. Get out. Oh my God. You should see this. You should see that. I wanted to tell everybody. I even told everybody at work. And they were like looking at me like, oh my God, are you okay now? Well, thank God you got out, and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to say. That
You know,
I
you know what,
I
Rebelde? It's like I'm listening to you and your excitement. It kind of reminds me, and kind of reminds me those feelings are when you join a church and you find Jesus and you're rejoice in the love of the Lord, and you want everybody to know and find the Lord. Okay, I'm talking now as a Christian, okay?
yeah,
And you're but see, here's the funny part of the whole thing. I know, and it saddens me that because of all this that's going on, a lot of people either stop believing in God, or they're either agnostic, or kind of maybe so. They're mad at God. I'll repeat this again. What my dad told me: don't be mad at God. He never left you. He was always there with you.
yes,
You left him. You took your vision off of him and you put it on a man, which is true. It was my bad all the way. But when you leave the cult and you see that rainbow, you're like going, wow, this was all a lie. And you want to tell the world that it was all a lie and to open their eyes. And you know, I have to say, in my experience, is that ever since I've I've left, and especially once I've confirmed more and more, and I hear stories and I talk to people, I go, praise God that I'm out, and I thank God that I still believe in God and I still trust in the Lord. Um, Now, me belonging to a certain church, I don't believe that I'll ever do it. I'm not going to say never, but right now I don't, because I don't need a man to tell me how to run my life,
right.
because I know the scriptures. I'm like you, Rebelde. I'm not a holy roly that will tell you in Ephesians, blah, blah, blah. Está esto. I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
me,
Kevin. We'll leave it to Kevin. He's my
yeah.
biblical guy. But
Okay.
llevamos
Sure.
oraciones, oraciones.
Sure. Yes, es cierto. Yo te daba de comer. Te daba de comer.
Hey,
I
Kevin,
wanna.
yo llevaba de nueves, but I cheated. I used to look at the concordancia, and I used to look for key words.
Mm,
Yeah.
Being that you and
no,
I both went to college, we kind of know about cheating with stuff like that, right? And that's how I prepared
Yeah.
myself to what subject I was going to talk, at the 9 o'clock the women's service that we used to have. But going back to that though, Rebelde, here's the amazing thing that I admire so much of you. It's only been 6 months, and here you are wanting to
I,
tell the world that get out, it's all a
yes,
lie. Be
yes,
free, enjoy
And
life.
that's what I want to jump into right now, because I want to make sure she has ample time for this, right?
yes.
Right.
So to anyone that's about to listen to what she's about to tell you right now, I do want to say, and I'm actually going to reference this, so there's more credibility. Hang on. Okay. This right here, right? So, Rogelio, you're right. And that's a big reason why we did the podcast, not so much because I need to know what these testimonies are. It's because my reactions are going to be sometimes first time hearing this type of things. So with Rebelde's story, what she's about to say, I haven't really heard much about it, right? So I hope that with the reactions, we don't think that we're pretending or making this up. Like, no,
No.
we do feel what we're saying, in this moment right now, right?
Right.
And anyone that is willing to give this a listen, we promise it's our heart. No matter how the words come out, how the story is, it's our heart, being displayed out here for the world to see it in a sense. So I want to preface this up so Rebelde kind of can take it from there, right? So there's a moment in time where all of us have a breaking point, right? A moment that just tips the scale and just says, help, this is now the end of my world. What is going on, right? And all these emotions and everything, right? For some, it's a small event. And for others, like Rebelde, who, because of friendships, because of people that opened their hearts up to her, or she opened her hearts up to them and everything, you build a tapestry of history in a sense. And in that tapestry, there is going to be suffering. So, Rebelde, please take it away.
Okay. So my breaking point was that when I first saw the Netflix and I started looking at the YouTube videos. And I remember that I didn't want to say anything in the podcast, but then there was a point where I was listening to Hector, and I was so mad. I was so furious. Some people, I heard that some people, when they got out, they felt so depressed, and some of them wanted to take their life. They were like thinking, um, there was a moment where I thought everything was a lie. All my whole life was a lie,
Yeah.
and there was no God. There was no Jesus.
I've
And
been
Mm.
through that.
I was thinking that.
Oh
I was
yeah.
thinking that. And I was like, no, but if God helped me when I asked him, Lord, you're gonna put out everything out there. And sure enough, because of my friends telling me to watch the Netflix, I watched it, and I opened my eyes and I was like, thank you, Lord. Thank you. But at the same time, I was crying so much. I was like, you know what, Lord, forgive me because I was an adulterer, not adulterer, idolatra.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Idolatra.
I was
Mhm.
serving God,
Mm.
un Dios que no, that is not a God. We considered Nason to be our God, and because we were like already like singing and singing songs, and I was like, Lord, forgive me for doing that, because es un hombre pecador, es un hombre de carne y hueso. It's a man that he has what's it called, it flesh, and he poops and
Yep.
he pees, and,
That's right.
so it,
That's right.
he's not a God. He's not a
You
God.
know, one thing that I want to touch up on there is that I say many times in all of my TikTok videos, and Tavi, when we talk, that one of the biggest emotions that we feel is humiliation from everything that we gave and how much pride we took in that, and it becomes like humiliating. And one of the most humiliating moments for me, and it seems like it was for Rebel Heart and Tavi, probably for many listening, is the moment you realize that all that you did was a total disrespect to God.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
such a disrespect, and he just stood there and he took it.
Mhm.
Like it just, as much love as you feel for God, that's how deep regret, almost like a regret that you feel like, Father, I stood up on that podium saying that I loved you, and yet I was, like Rebelde says, worshiping a man. And all this time I thought I was loving you, and the whole time I was spitting on you.
Yes.
You know what
You're
I'm
making me
saying?
cry.
Exactly.
You know what,
It's so
Kevin,
true.
it's so true. It's so true because
It's true.
how many times did we say, por la oración de un siervo de Dios?
Oh,
How many times did we give that credit to that
Yeah.
rapist? How many? Oh,
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
and
en las Santas Cenas, when he would say que ojalá que Dios viniera hoy día, like, qué falta de respeto
yes,
We
al
took
autor de un para.
the
Y yo,
Lord.
amén, gloria que así sea. Like, qué tristeza para Dios.
Looking
Ver
at
and
us.
he
eso.
still loves us, and he still
And he
loves
still
us,
loves us.
and
Yeah.
he's there for me right now, and he's still blessing me.
Yes. Amen.
You know, I mean, I really, I don't even know how to explain my feelings or say over and over again, God forgive me for what I did, because not only did we sin, but we offended God.
Yes.
We put him aside,
Yes, we
and
did.
we trusted in this man.
We
So
did.
I think that, you know, that still hurts us. That still,
Yes,
it
it does.
still
We
hurts
carry
me
that.
que
Yeah.
le fallé a Dios, you know,
Yeah.
because bygones will be bygones, but they're not gone.
No.
You're
No.
still thinking, you know, Dios mío, perdóname por tantos. You know, we're saying I was in church for 30 years. You're saying it was right before. I was 5 when my mom converted to La Luz del Mundo, and since then, I was exposed to all that. You know, but then I have to say, God saw something in me
Yeah.
that that he pulled me out, and he opened my heart, and he opened my vision, my spiritual vision, to say, I can't do this anymore. My dad would always tell me de que era una iglesia falsa. He would always tell me that I was wrong, and I would always
Hard.
fight him back.
My
Y
uncle.
decía, papi, si
Yeah.
vienes a mi casa y ofendes al siervo de Dios, you need to leave right now. I'm glad that before he passed away, I told him that I was sorry. I told him that I was sorry that I kicked him out of my house because he was telling me that I
All
was
that
wrong.
stuff in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think these podcast guys are healing because we see each other, that we love each other, and we have each other, and telling our stories heal. Here I am, you know, 10
Yeah.
years later, I'm telling my story, and it's sad that my family gets upset that I go on these podcasts and I share, but I wish and I pray that my family sees the pain that I have in my heart to see you
Yeah.
still believing in a false man, en un pecador, en un hombre, like you said, Rebelde. He poops, he eats, he pees.
Peace.
He es un hombre. I don't even want to say
One
hagamos un
thing.
lado las cochinadas que hizo. I'm not, because that's
No.
way important.
Right. It's a perversion. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
The one
like,
thing that I want to finish with that piece, because it really does have to get the rest of it, and our hearts can pour for
okay, I'm
hours,
sorry.
right?
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good. No, because I wanna finish what you started in that sense with pouring your heart. When I came to those realizations as well, like, me daba pena. Like, I was embarrassed to even want to pray to God because I felt so stupid.
Mhm.
For as much as I thought I knew nothing, right? And there's this moment where I'm just rereading the Bible after a while, and I'm reading Luke, because it was just Luke, right? And there's and just randomly scrolling the Bible for random text, and there's a text, and if someone knows it, please put it in the comments. I don't know it, but it's the one where it talks about that the price for the sins was once paid, and nothing can be added to it, which means that all that time ago, when Jesus says, "Forgive them, they don't know what they're doing," it's a timeless phrase, because he wasn't talking about those that were spitting on him and stabbing him and cursing his name and damning him to hell and calling him the King of the Jews and everything that hurts our heart to read. He's looking past that, and he sees the people that were blindly going to worship and fall for the lies of the wolf, but try to find him and eventually find him. He saw all of that, and to say,
Amen.
I take you for how you are today. I'm not going to
Yes.
make you better so you can come to me later. No, 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 no. I want you as you are today.
Come as you
Come
are.
to me. And that is what, like, just levanta ese dolor de esa pena y te dice, hey, I know you were going to be like this, and I love you. Ven, cállate, cállate. Ven. Ven, cállate, ya, ven.
Hug.
Ven. Rebelde, please,
Yeah.
go right ahead.
So, like I said, so many people that, they took their lives. I don't know how many people have taken their lives because when they discovered this, they were like, oh my God, I've been in a lie my whole time. But what I did, what helped me so much, was listen to the YouTube podcasts. And um, eventually I started building up friends, and they started reaching out to me with the same hurt, with the same cause, and I started building up more and more friends, and then I got the courage to say, and now I have friends that even want to reach to the, like, Hector and to Apocalypsis and to Sarai. They want to reach out to them, and
Right.
I think I'm doing my job now as talking
You have.
and
Yep.
and like, I'm gonna say it in Spanish. Me hice más obrera acá afuera que adentro.
Trying to reach out.
The Spanish
Exactly.
speaking people,
Yes.
well, the translation was she made herself a missionary for the world, for the truth.
Exactly. I want to say something really quick to Carlos Arciniega. Carlos, mil disculpas. Kevin hizo este canal en inglés porque hay mucha juventud, hay muchas personas que entienden más el inglés, ya que hay muchos canales en español, pero queremos alcanzar a la audiencia de habla inglés, dijo. Sorry, pero por eso lo estamos haciendo en inglés, para alcanzar a la gente que entiende mejor el inglés que el español. No es que nos avergoncemos de nuestra cultura, sino que es nuestra meta. Ok, mi hijo, Dios te bendiga. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
You know, Rebelde, I want to share something about you. You shared something with me yesterday about what Alondra used to do. You don't have to say the name, and I don't even know if you want to share that. But it amazes me, you hearing testimonies from your friends
Yeah.
of things that were done to your friends and how you believed it. And I admire you for that.
thank you. Yes, I did.
do.
Yeah, one thing that she told me was when I started watching the YouTube channels, and I started watching all the Netflix, and I believed my friend when she said that her daughter was being pushed by this Alondra, to kiss Nason, and to like, because Nason used to tell Alondra, you know what? Your job is to convince them that me having my dick inside her is going to sanctify her, or holy her up, and
Holy
so you have to
I'm
work.
sorry.
Santificar.
Yes.
And
Sanctify her. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so that was like a hit to my face, because I was like, so he was telling her to get these girls to sleep with him because nothing was going to happen to them. They were going to be even more blessed. They were going to die and they were going to go straight to the heavens just for doing that. And they couldn't say anything to anybody, their parents or anything like that.
No, makes no
So
sense. Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God. I believed her. I believed her when she said
Yeah.
that. She's like, can you believe that? And when we see Alondra in the courts, we're like, yes, I believe it, because Nason used to tell her, was, like, bring me the girls and tell them that it's gonna be, but
And
yeah,
I admire you. Admire you, Rebelde, that you believed her. And you reminded me of a real short thing that I want to say real quick is that if someone if someone tells you, comes to you, especially because we're out now. I have relatives of mine that had came to me and told me I don't believe anymore. I saw the video, I saw this, I saw that, or I heard this, or and little by little they're starting to believe. So if someone comes to you that is still in La Luz del Mundo, still a member, and comes to you and tells you I was a victim, believe them.
yes,
Yes,
Don't
we were
question
talking.
them.
Yep.
Because I mean, what if your child came to you and told you, you know what, my teacher touched me in the wrong places? Would you just say, well, I didn't see it, so I'm not going to believe it? Are you really going to say
no,
that? Are you really going to question your
right.
child?
It's your
You know,
child.
and yeah, and that's what I did when I remember when I was actually having breakfast with, speaking of Sochi, and we were having breakfast with my cousin's house, and I got a message from Jane Doe number 5 asking for help. That's when they had her help in Guadalajara, and she was asking me for help. She was worried that they were gonna end her life. And I remember Sochi that told me, "Yeah, she's in danger. Call her." Her and her husband did everything in their power to try to rescue her. It was impossible. And you know what's really sad is that here's the sad part. People say that it's all a lie and that it wasn't true, that she climbed over the. It's all a true story, guys. What happened to my niece? It was all a true story. But we had heroes, and I'm not going to say their names because don't have the permission, that worked with the U.S. Embassy to get her over here. But she told me that when she climbed that wall over and she got into the car and she saw these people with a mask on, because it was still during COVID, she didn't know if it was the enemy or it was the good side.
Oh my
It was
God.
all true. It was all true. Why did they have her in captivity? Why was it that they had 2 guards in front of her door and they didn't want her to go anywhere unless to be washed? El que nada debe nada teme. If you don't owe anything, what are you feeling of?
Yeah,
But it's
Right.
all true, and that's why I'm saying, and I remember she told me, Jane Doe, she told me, tell Xochitl that I believe her story, that I believe everything she's saying. So again, I commend you, Rebelde, for saying that you believed her and you opened your eyes, and the Lord gave you that gift of waking up, and going, wow,
Right.
it's true. All this has been a lie. So I do encourage everybody that if any loved ones, any friends of you, a mother of a daughter, and they come and tell you, you know what, I suspect, my daughter told me, back them up, love them,
yes,
embrace them,
yes.
Yes.
embrace them,
Yes. Um,
inform yourself.
I just want to take a quick pause and say, I got flagged on TikTok for sexually explicit language.
Oh, sorry.
So if we could avoid, no, it wasn't you. It's something that Rebelde said that was funny.
Yes.
Oh,
But just watch that one. Just watch that one.
My
That's
mouth,
all.
me and my mouth.
That's all. Yes. No. Okay. So Rebelde, we're running short on time right now. So it's one of the things that people like a lot when they listen to a podcast is obviously like the story, the most impactful story to you. Is there an impactful story that you like to share with the audience today?
I guess I've said everything. I can't remember. Um, more stuff. But if there's another chance, another day that I can come out again and help and support, whoever is gonna be up here and you know telling their testimony. But I just wanted to let everybody know that um, I thank God first because He opened my eyes and I quickly acted on it. And I decided to become an activist, and I'm still telling people, even when I'm in the street, and I tell them, please do not go to that church or that cult because,
Yeah.
it's true. And everybody in my family is backing me up. And I'm grateful for that, for my family
Praise
and
God.
my friends too. My friends, I have a lot of friends that are with me. And I want to keep on, staying, until we get justice and we get, this man locked up for good, and hopefully everybody else too that was accomplishment from him, accomplished.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So
Thank you for sharing that.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you for sharing that.
And
We're gonna start. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
thank you for having me here. Thank you, Tabby.
Thank
I really
you. Thank you for
appreciate
joining
it.
us.
Yeah.
One of the stories about the Bible that people like a lot, and they use that to motivate themselves, is the fig tree. And obviously, we're not talking about the one that Christ cursed and it was never going to bear fruit again, right? But he compared the children of God are like a fig tree, right? Giving fruit all the time, right? Which is the name of the channel and everything. Um, Rebelde, everything you're doing are fruits from your heart, and the fruits are that are truth. They're about justice. They're about advocating for the truth to come out,
Yeah.
for justice to prevail, for everything to come to light. These are all things that are attributes that belong to God. We know this. So what you've done today, like you've been doing, these are all wonderful fruits that God sees, and they belong to Him. They're wonderful fruits. And then, of course, this is just who I am as a person. Uh, Dia, I did not ask the question in the best way. I didn't. And even though I was a third person coming in and doesn't really even know a lot about what's going on, there was just it was just not the right way to ask the question. It just wasn't. So to that, I apologize to Sochil
It's okay.
for asking the question that way. Dia, that's
I know.
not
It's
how I am. It just came out because
it's
it
okay.
just
And
seemed funny in
and
the
don't worry
moment.
about it because I I'm prudent and um it's just don't want to poke the bear como dicen. Hey,
No.
can you share our email?
Oh yeah.
I'm blocked again for some reason. I can't enter our email. I try to enter it.
Oh, there
There
we
you go.
go.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
I
Sure.
I think it was necessary for me and for Tabby to say about Xochitl because a lot of people
for
still
sure.
think that she is the bad one. She's the one that's doing all of this, which is, she's not the bad one. She's
No,
not the bad one. We all have our faults. We all have our mistakes. Whatever
No
she
one's
did,
perfect.
whatever she did was, in the past. And look at us now. We're more and more opening our eyes because she opened her mouth and she said out there what was going on. So that's what I wanted to
Absolutely.
say.
Yeah. No, I'm okay, Kevin. We're all good without any of that. And that's what's the
yeah.
beauty of life, that we're real. We're not
Yeah.
fake.
Hmm?
We're real, and
And
we
we make
say
mistakes
what's in our hearts, and we make
right
mistakes.
in front of
Right.
you. I'll make the mistakes
No
right in front of
worries.
you. And
Yeah.
Rogelio made it very clear. Necesito la iluminación del apóstol para que me aprenda los. Oh, no, no. No es la iluminación. Sorry. De la de él, no. Sorry. So, no. Rogelio, you and I, we're going to talk.
Yes, I told him he's next.
Yeah. Rogelio.
I like what Lou put on here. It says if your church tells you to hate your loved ones if they don't believe what you do, where is God in that? God loves all of us equally.
Exactly.
Our voices will be heard. Amen to that. I love how your message
Yeah.
is. You know what? Our audience, Mijo, is growing little by little. And again, everyone share our podcast with everybody. It's actually a really easy name, The Fig Tree. That's it. So I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And Kevin, I think that it's been I'm not going to say I think. I believe that it's a beginning of a great thing.
A great, great
And
thing.
we're get yes, a great thing that we're doing.
What? No, I don't want to do great things. I want to be basic.
Oh, we are basic.
God.
Great. I didn't say great man. The great man is up there.
Yeah, no,
No,
you're right
we're
about
gonna
that.
we're
Yeah.
gonna do great things, and what it is open people's eyes. I'm not gonna say salvar almas because eso lo hace el Señor.
No,
Pero
but
sí abrir los ojos.
we do help by giving testimony and telling people, not to be there.
Mhm.
So como quien dice, we are a little bit, like preaching, and we're helping,
Right.
so
Yeah. Hey,
people.
one thing that I want to mention too is that Roger noted too is that a lot of people that get out, they don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to leave it behind, and I respect that.
Oh, yes.
You know, I mean, my
Yeah.
husband
Yeah.
even tells me that sometimes, babe, why don't you let this go? Why do you keep going back to it? I stopped and I
Mhm.
came back, and I go, it's needed, babe. And luckily he loves me unconditionally. It doesn't come between us, but you're right, Roger. It's true, and we'll respect that. And but the subject that I was saying before, Roger, is if a friend of yours from La Luz del Mundo would come to you and tell you, hey, what do you think? My daughter told me that this and this and this, or my son, this and this happened. What do you think? And if they want to hear your feedback, then it's cool to share your feedback, But just ask God to guide you. I know that that's what I have done. So yeah, it's
Amen.
absolutely necessary to do that and respect that. Okay, I think we're going past our time, and I just want to thank everybody on our audience for joining us today. As you guys can see, we're very kicked back. We just want you guys we want to be real. We want you guys to enjoy us. We don't want to be boring. Not that any other podcast is boring, but in the English language,
Oh,
we were able
no.
to
You just
connect
started
better.
problems now with the other podcast.
I know. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
my God.
I don't want
No
I don't want to put people to
way.
sleep. I don't want to put people to sleep. It's
Now
my
I have
bad.
to appear on their podcast and apologize. Oh, my
Kevin,
God. Yes.
there. See, that's
This-
what keeps us not boring. But I just want to tell everybody we love you guys a whole bunch, and God, we look forward to so many other just talks. Roger, if you want, you know what, Exacam, I noticed that you speak English, and I thought you were from Mexico. So you might still be in Mexico because I'm going to keep you incognito, okay?
Oh,
But
shoot.
if you want to be on, I know you talk in public too. You don't give your face, but how about if you come on and talk with us too? You can ask Hector for my number, and we'll plug you in. Anybody, Vin, Indigno, he's saying some good stuff in there too. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
just talk. You don't even have
We
to.
have
Yeah, you guys don't have to give your face.
comments.
You can do what Rebelde does.
Yes. Yeah, and he
Just
could
a
also
little bit.
be very like he knows his texts in the Bible and stuff. I don't
Really, who Vin?
feel.
Vil Indigno? Is he a friend?
Yeah.
Well, if he did, he would have put that text that I asked him to put up. I'm just joking, dude.
We love you.
We should do some.
Próxima.
Hey, we should do a show like that. Test
Yes.
everybody and see how well they know their Bible.
No, because they're gonna want to all go against me, and they're all gonna burn me, and I'll just be like a puppet to just get beat on. Oh my God.
That's
Well,
funny.
okay. En las palabras de Juan Gabriel, un abrazo a todas las.
There he goes again. Ay, ay,
All
ay.
right, everybody, have a
You're
wonderful
hilarious.
night.
Love you
Bye.
guys. Un
Thank you.
besito. Mwah.
Thank you for coming.
Good night,
Un besito.
everybody.
Bye.
Adiós.
Besito.